Hello everyone, I'm Bishi. And tonight we are playing more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, starting episode 4, which is the second to last one. But first, we're going to sit here and chat for just a little bit, especially about the Game Awards 2024. What did we think? What were our feelings? Some of us were kind of live reacting in the Discord, yes. We didn't do a VC or anything, but we were all just like typing away. And I didn't take any notes, unfortunately. I usually try to take notes during game shows so I know what to talk about, but I guess I could just go check the Discord if I forget what to talk about. But a lot of cool stuff was announced, a lot of fun games won awards. Not all of them I played, but that's okay. I was watching with a bunch of friends and we were going crazy. Yeah, me and Ruuuvo were going wild at what I think was the best part about it, for me anyway. Because like watching the game, watching who wins what award is fun. But like what I really like about the Game Awards mostly is getting to see the new games being announced and stuff, which is why I like to watch it. Of course, we were screaming at the Okami sequel announcement. We don't even know a single thing about it. We don't got a date. We don't have what it's about. We don't have what console, whatever, but just the fact that they're working on a sequel, we were screaming and crying. Like, I was crying. I actually cried a few times while watching the Game Awards. That was one of the times. Another time that I cried, I think it was just twice, was, oh gosh. See, this is why I wish I took notes. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. But when they were talking about the man who helped so many people, so many game devs that lost their jobs, get back into the industry, that he helped people get into the gaming industry during one of its roughest years. That moment made me cry when he was accepting the award and he was crying. It made me emotional. Oh my gosh, so many tears, so many tears. Yeah, there was a lot of emotional moments, you know. Like that was great. Amir, I think so. That sounds familiar. His name might have been Amir. Yeah, that was a really great moment. That moment was great. The Okami announcement was great. Astrobot won so many awards. I played the demo, you know, the first Astrobot game that came out for the PS5, but I have not played the full-fledged game that they got to make, and that's what won all these awards. I really wish that I was able to play it. I still can. It's not like it's over now. Like, I've lost my chance. I can't play the game anymore. I just don't know when I'm gonna get it and when I'm gonna stream it. I gotta see when it goes on sale. We shall see, but it's on my wish list. I really, really want to get it. And I think it would be a really fun time to stream it. I don't think it's a very long game. But anyway, it won a bunch of awards, which I am sure is well-deserved. Just from playing the PS5 demo thing, I knew it was gonna be a good game, so that was great. What else won? A game called Balatro won a lot. I don't know anything about Balatro. I know people have been talking about it a lot. All I know is that it has cards. It's like a card game. I don't know anything about it. Does it have a good story? Like, I have no idea. Usually, at least I have some kind of idea, like with mouthwashing. I heard stuff about it and then finally watched playthroughs. Developed by one person who is completely anonymous. I heard it was made by one person, but that's wild. We don't even know who made it, and it won like 5 awards. I don't remember how many. And it's like a huge sensation. What the heck? Is it like they have an account, but like they don't tell their name and they like hide their face? Or we don't even know who this person is. Like, it was just sent out to the masses and it's just out there now. Like, how anonymous is this person? No one knows who it is. So there's not even a social media account of creator and then they just don't say their name. That's wild. What? Okay, no story, just a card game, but the mechanics go wild. Interesting. There is a Twitter account, okay. But it's like super, super anonymous who it is. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into it more. I mean, the fact that it won so many awards, it must be pretty good, right? So, write a note for myself. Me and Ruuuvo gotta check out Balatro. We shall see. Maybe I'll watch someone else play it. I don't know. I know! New RGG. New RGG. I never was expecting that. I thought we were just Yakuza. Oh my god. I'm blanking. Lost Judgment. I think they also did Fist of the North Star. I thought that's all we had. Oh, and then they did Binary Domain or whatever. I thought that's all we got. I was not expecting a new thing anytime soon. They're working on so many things right now. They must have been working on that game, the Majima Pirate game, and Infinite Wealth all at the same time. And the Switch version of Kiwami. What is going on? Working on 4 things at once. Oh my god. And all of them are great. They're all great games. I don't know how they're doing it. I hope the dev teams are doing okay. And they have a good work-life balance. I don't know. And then now they're doing Virtual Fighter 2, so actually that's 5. Yeah, Project Century is the name of the new one. I forgot to write down the name. I knew it had Century in the name, but Project Century. So is that like the permanent name? Or is it so early on it's still being called like Project something? Yeah, what the name of it will actually be. Right, that's a working title, isn't it? Project Century. And probably called that because it's like a period piece. Like it's set in older, yeah, 1915. Huh. Okay, those are usually placeholders. I thought so. Usually when it says project, it's not really the real name. That is so interesting. And then I saw people were saying that the main character kind of looks like the actor for Kiryu from the movie. Who I love, actually. I really like that actor. So that'd be pretty cool. Either way, though, like, new character to thirst for. Excited for that. But no, it looked really cool. I was really confused watching, though, so I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the trailer again. Because when I was watching that, they had just announced Virtual Fighter, so I was like, wait, is it still Virtual Fighter? But it doesn't look like it because, like, it's like first-person battle system and not, you know, like Virtual Fighter. So I was confused, and then I realized, oh, no, this is a new thing. Oh! So I was really confused. Anyway, it looked really cool when I wasn't being confused, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I would love to play that. I'm not a Virtual Fighter person, but I am excited for the Virtual Fighter people to be getting a new Virtual Fighter. I do have to say, hands down, the Okami announcement was the 10 out of 10 moment for me. That's when like, we were just watching it in the other room together. Me and Ruuuvo were watching the Game Awards, and that was the one moment where we're like, what? That's when we were yelling, was for that. But I am also excited for the new RGG game. We'll have to see when that comes out. So we've just gotten Kiwami on the Switch. And then we're getting Majima in February. And then the Century game, since it doesn't even have a permanent title, we're assuming, probably won't come out until like 2026, maybe? Like the year after? Doesn't mean we won't get anything in the interim, but I did hear that RGG is going to want to announce a lot of stuff next year because it's one of their big anniversaries, right? Correct? I think so. So we'll see. We'll see what they're doing. See what they're cooking. Apparently a lot. But it's always exciting. And there was a few other cool games spattered here and there. The new Witcher game with, what's her name? It starts with a C. Oh my god. I can't remember. I never even played The Witcher. But I love that she gets her own game. I thought it looked really, really good. I'm gonna have to... Siri! I knew it was. Gosh. No, not you! My phone was reacting. I can't say her name. She was like, yes? You called? Literally, that's my name? I'm so sorry. I'm confusing my phone. But yeah, I thought it was really cool that she got her own game. I haven't played The Witcher. I know that The Witcher 3 was really, really good. I never got around to playing it, even though I do actually own it. I got it on sale forever ago. I haven't even watched a playthrough because I was like, I have it. I'm gonna play it, and then I didn't. I don't know. I might just watch someone else play the new one. So I can finally experience somehow a Witcher game, but that looked really cool. What was some of the stuff that y'all were excited about? I can't remember all the games. They announced so many things. It was just like bam, 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 bam. I can't remember everything. I only remember the big stuff. Never felt this happy over a Game Awards show. That one was really good. I felt like pretty much every award was deserved. Even if I didn't quite know the game, like if I haven't played it or seen anyone play it, I still thought that, yeah, that makes sense. I heard great things about that one, you know? Also, welcome in, Panda. I don't think I said that. Yeah, solid 9 out of 10 for me. Amazing announcements. Actually deserved awards, yes. Overjoyed to see Astrobot sweep. Yeah, Astrobot and Balatro swept. And then our RGG fans getting something new, and Okami. I was walking away to use the bathroom, but I heard the orchestra music start, and I stopped. I can just imagine. So, when I was watching, I didn't immediately recognize the music, but it sounded familiar. And then, like, kind of like the graphics they had on screen, I was like, is this like the new Ghost of Tsushima game? But then he was like really building it up to be something amazing, and I was like, I don't think that they would do all of this for the Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Like, they've already announced that before, so it can't be that. So I was just confused. I was like, what is this? And then I think I started recognizing the music when more color was on the screen. And then, of course, when I saw her, when I saw that white wolf, I immediately knew, Okami! Okami! But then I was like, okay, is this like a port? What is this? Like, I wasn't sure, and I saw her little shield, and me and Ruuuvo were screaming, and then it said sequel, and I was like, ah! Sequel! I'm trying to reenact my reaction, because I know I wasn't streaming, but... Oh my goodness. I'm very excited for that. Don't know anything else about it, but I'm very excited. I would love to play that. And of course, Capcom. Capcom's making it very based. Capcom is doing lots of amazing stuff lately. And we're playing a Capcom game tonight. More Chronicles. Now all they have to do is announce a new Ace Attorney game. That's all they have left to do. And then all the Ace Attorney fans will be happy. Welcome in, Roxy. Sorry, I'm kind of like going back in the older chat and catching up right now. I remember it from some videos where a streamer manages to get infinite score. Oh, and Balatro. I haven't seen a single thing about it. I've only heard the name. That's it. I just learned today that it's a card game. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I don't know how. I've been under a rock, I guess. I don't know. I only heard of its name before, and I didn't know what anyone was talking about. Oopsie. Not a Virtua Fighter fan, but very hyped about whatever Project Century is. Yeah. I love games set in, like, you know, 1900s, 1800s. I find that they can be really interesting. And, you know, I do love some samurai-esque stuff. I don't know if that game had any, but I'm always up for samurai stuff. I'm just throwing that out there. Ishin, Ghost of Tsushima. Now we have an actual RPG beat 'em up trinity. Yakuza, Judgment, and Project Century. Yeah. It might also be them showing off a new engine, because it looked far nicer than Dragon Age. Now, that's why I was confused. It didn't even look like a Yakuza game at first. I was like, huh? I mean, it's not Yakuza, but you know what I mean? Like, it didn't look like Dragon Engine stuff, so... It might be a new one. Wonder if it's still set in the Yakuza universe. That would be really interesting. I mean, obviously, it's not like a Yakuza spin-off with, you know, Kiryu playing a new historical figure or anything like that. But that would be interesting if it was just, like... I guess just past history in the same universe? I don't know. I'm assuming it's a totally new thing. I'm just under that assumption. I didn't even think it would be tied to Yakuza at all, because it just has a different title, you know? Don't think it would be. Yeah, I don't think so. The trailer reminded me of the Y6 demo when Kitty had a blue jacket. Century's probably only like 2 years along. Oh, maybe. Wanted to cry when Okami got announced. Yep. Aw, I instantly texted my cousin who grew up with it. So sweet. Witcher 4 trailer had me by the throat. Even though they announced they were working on it, the cinematic trailer for it looked so good. There was parts of it that I was like, is this a movie? Like, it just looks like live action to me right now. Oh, another cool game I just remembered because I thought it looked like a movie was... What was it? Intergalactic? Heretic? Something. Pretty sure it's Intergalactic. And that looked really, really cool. I was so confused. I was like, is this cyberpunk? Is this alien? But then I was pretty sure that he had said it was a new thing. Completely new. So... it was. Thought that looked pretty interesting, pretty cool. I'm gonna have to check out streams of people playing that or something. All about period games. Mafia set in the early 1900s. Seeing a game set in that time period made by my favorite game development studio has me so excited. Yeah, it looked really interesting. Everyone think the last announcement looked cool. Oh yeah, what I was just talking about. Oh yeah, new Borderlands 2. Not interested in the Elden Ring co-op. Oh, it was a co-op spinoff, wasn't it? I wasn't super paying attention because I don't play Elden Ring or From Software really, but... This Game Awards isn't 10 out of 10 because Tifa wasn't chosen for Tekken. Oh my god. Where is Tifa? Where is she? Get Randy off stage. Okami and Onimusha being back. I don't know anything about Onimusha. But that was also like a sequel being announced, right? Yeah, RGG and Capcom. Sega and Capcom have been cooking the last few years. And yeah, they got Hideki Kamiya back for Okami, which is super exciting. In fact, I got so hyped just from seeing the RGG logo in a game trailer. I screamed. Yeah, like I didn't know what it was. I really thought that they were showing another trailer for the Majima game. So I was super conflicted. I was like, do I keep watching this? I literally was like kind of covering my eyes. So I also didn't get to pay attention much because of that. I was like, what? Oh no, that was during, sorry, that was during the Virtual Fighter announcement. Because it was like, I saw RGG on screen the first time and I was like, what is this? What is this? And then it was Virtual Fighter. I was like, oh, that's fine. That's okay. Like, I really don't know what I would do if I was watching a game show and I saw that they were going to show a Majima Pirate trailer. Like, I don't know what I would do. I feel like I just want to play the game now. I don't want to see anything else. I just want to be surprised. But like at the same time, I'm like, well, what if people start memeing about what's in the new trailer? And then that's how I know about it instead of just watching the trailer. I don't know. I've been almost like spoilered, quote unquote, for so many things from that game already. As usual, this happens every time. I don't want to see too much from the game, and yet like everyone's posting about everything that's shown at all. And then RGG shows you absolutely everything, like all the karaoke songs and all of this and all of that. I'm like, I don't want to know yet, please. I want some like anticipation of what could there be, not anticipation of I can't wait for that in the game that I know about already. I don't know. Never heard of Balatro until I saw what games were up for Game of the Year. Yeah, Hey Sly, welcome in. I just love RGG, it seems. Yeah, I think we just all get excited when we see the logo. I'm down for the new RGG game being completely different and separate from the Yakuza universe. Would love to see what they can do outside of that universe. Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and then that game, Intergalactic whatever, is, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, by the way. I just can't remember the subtitle. that game had so much product placement. It was kind of funny. Like, it starts off with the Porsche, and I'm like, Porsche? And then Sony, and then Adidas. Like, it just bam, bam, bam. Like, well, that's where their budget came from, I guess. We know how this got funded. But, you know, it actually kind of worked towards giving it more of the retro feel, funnily enough. Like, all of those brands are very, like, historically, just were already established in the time period it's kind of giving. So it was on brand, you could say. Oh. I liked the protagonist. Her character in the Sabrina reboot was most interesting to me. RPG games have certain formula that has been working and continues to work. If they can get out of their usual formula, make a game that's not like the others, that could be a new step for them. It was Majima Pirates. Majima would have made himself known immediately. I guess. I just saw, like, movement and, like, stuff breaking, and I was like, Majima? And I wasn't looking at all. I was, like, averting my eyes, so I didn't know for the first few seconds. The drama queen that he is. I know. Adidas also tipped me off. Spider-Man 2 also had Adidas branded super suit. Product placement almost took me out of it. I mean, I get that, because product placements can do that. It's worse to me in a movie. Like, if I'm watching a movie and the person is, like, really obviously holding, like, a Coca-Cola can so that you can see the name on it, and they drink from it really slowly, like, that takes me out of it, because I'm like, well, there's the product placement. Like, oh. But for me, I mean, the trailer was fine. If it's, like, everywhere in the game constantly, sure, but it's the trailer. I think, I don't know. They gotta get the money from somewhere. They gotta make their money somewhere. So it didn't bother me too much. Again, I kind of feel like it adds to the retro feel because of the kinds of brands they chose. If they chose a brand that was like... Oh, let me think of something that's super now. Now I'm blanking. I guess if it was pretty much anything else. Other than maybe those three. Or it could have been like Nike. Or, yeah, if it was like Gucci. Or, you know, like if it was just something really now. Oh, like Supreme, right? Like if they'd said Supreme, that would have taken me out of it. Because that does not give retro. I think that's like a newer brand. Stuff like that. Objection! To what specifically? Overruled. Welcome in, PC Man. How you doing? To me not being here, okay. I will let that stand. Welcome in. We were just talking about the Game Awards. Talking all about it, and then we're gonna get into Ace Attorney in a little bit. Product placement was a bit much, but felt like they were trying to emphasize the whole retro synthwave thing. Yeah, again, I feel like it kind of tied into it. But if the whole game were like that, yeah, I'd be kind of put off by that. But I thought the aesthetics were really cool. Like I said, I almost thought it was Alien, but I was like, I don't know, it looked a little too bright to be Alien. I feel like Alien is more, and even more like old style retro. It was more like modern sci-fi mixed with retro. I don't know. It was a little bit more modern than Alien usually is, so I really wasn't sure. And then I was like, oh, it's a new thing. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, people, apparently there was like a Majima cosplayer in the audience. Mercer was there. I think Kaiji was there. I mean, there was a bunch of people. I didn't see anybody. Ruuuvo said they saw Matt Mercer at one point. I just wasn't paying attention to like the background when they were showing the crowd, which I should, because then I get to see people like that. But yeah, apparently there was a Majima cosplayer. I think I didn't see him though. Cannot confirm. Really thought I did. I could be wrong. I know it was probably Mercer. I'm sure he was there. Someone said they saw Kaiji, so why not? Didn't see the cosplayer. Yeah. I mean, we weren't 100% paying attention. I missed like the first few, maybe like the first 20 minutes or something of the show, I think. Because I forgot to pull it up. So bad. I'm so terrible. But yeah. Was there anything else that was like really big from all the announcements and stuff? I think there was some games here and there I was excited about. Oh, the new game by the It Takes Two devs I thought looked pretty cool. And I thought it was funny how it was kind of similar to the other game they made, where you have real people getting stuck in a fantasy world and they have to escape. So it's like the same premise, but for different reasons. It's not two parents going through a divorce, having to save their marriage and get out of a fantasy world. But I thought it looked pretty fun. Maybe me and Ruuuvo will play that. Maybe we'll stream that someday. We'll see. I've really been prioritizing story games lately. Like I've been prioritizing Yakuza. We're trying to get through Ace Attorney. And I threw Dead Space in there, of course. But yeah. You missed the announcement of Oopie Gloopy 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh my god. How could I do that? How terrible of me. Let me get my controller working. It always likes to disconnect. And I have to do this to reconnect it for some reason. Because just turning on the controller doesn't work. I swear. Okay. But you know, I don't want to replace it. It still works. I'm gonna use it until it won't turn on at all. And it's broken. Anyway, let's go play some Ace Attorney with my not broken controller. Let's do that. Alright, y'all. Here we are. Alright. Like I said, we are in episode 4. We're about to start episode 4 here. Let me get my notes so I can start writing things down. For episode 4. Okay. Here we go. Gotta take very extensive notes in case I go on hiatus again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna really try not to. I'm gonna try my absolute darndest to not put this game on hiatus again at all and just finish it. We only have 2 cases left, which will, you know, arguably take me probably until January. But I'm gonna try to keep this in the shelf. Like, if anything, we'll be playing Majima Pirates and Ace Attorney at the same time. I don't know if it'll take me until February to finish, but I really don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Let's do it. All right. Episode 4, Twisted Karma and his last bow on a present. 3 months later. No, no. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. I swear this needs to be finished, okay? Now, I can't guarantee I'll move on to the next Ace Attorney game right after finishing this. There could be a game that pops up that I really want to play before we move on to Apollo. That is possible. But I do not want to put this on the back burner again. This game specifically. It's been put off way too much. It needs to be finished. All right. Twisted Karma and his last bow.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder, an executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way. my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
A game is afoot! The game is at hand. Eight days after that earth-shattering trial, and Kazuma regaining his memory. Oh, yes. Oh, the last scene from last stream of this game. Oh my goodness. I cried. I cried at Kazuma being truly back with us. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ooh, fancy. So fancy. 1st November, 10:24 a.m., Great Waterloo Hotel foyer. Susato. She is here. It is she! Let me start typing my notes. Susato wearing kimono in fancy schmancy artsy fartsy Waterloo Hotel foyer. No. Very important notes I'm taking right now. No, 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 no. A riddle. When is a game not a game? When it's afoot! Very funny, Wolf. Very funny. Good job. Hey, Shiny, welcome in. Oh, don't know if anyone said it yet, but the main character of Project Sentry uses a crowbar and a comma, I think, and that is metal. Like I said, I need to go back and rewatch that trailer, because I was, like, looking through my fingers for part of it, because I thought it was another Majima trailer. So I had to avert my gaze. I will rewatch it later. Either way, though, like, I am interested in the game. I want to see it. Yeah. Welcome in, Fox. Yeah, we're all hyped for Project Sentry now. And I'm also hyped for Susato! Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father... Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? What else could she be talking about? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right. But for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows, then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. I mean, that's so awful, though. Like, I know there's some deeper plot going on here that, you know, obviously I just don't know yet. But, like, that's their best friend, and they think he's dead, and her dad can't tell them that, no, he's not dead, he's alive. Like, so sad. Ah, there she is. Oh. Huh? Why are y'all here? Is that the judge from Japan? Yeah, I'll be the judge of whether he's sexy or not. How about that? Okay. We spotted you from across the room and liked your vibes. Talking to me. Talking to me. Talking to me. Okay, anyway. Oh, father. Hello, Susato. How are you? The judge is literally staring right into our eyes. I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Oh, we were expecting them. You know, his beard is a little... I mean, it's... Do they stay separate? Yeah, you know, it's like, now that he's up close, I'm like second guessing the beard. Octopus beard, yeah. Are they all in like little ponytails? That's how mine looks after I wear a KN95. Oh my god. Welcome in, Possum. So with a beard, I feel attacked, but it's like all in pieces. It looks like they're all in little ponytails. Oh no. They have, there's wax in it and now it's just stuck this way. He shaves it that way, he shaves between all the sections. Seems shorter than in the first game. Maybe it's the angle. I don't know. He might have chopped it. I don't know. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. News has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? Why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. He doesn't recognize the judge? Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty. Oh! Ah. Oh! You're... Yeah, it's the angle. When we see it from below, it just looks more long and majestic. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Jikoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good. You remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty. Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Jikoku? Does Jikoku mean hell? Does it? I didn't know that. Is that what it means? Yeah. Is that? He doesn't seem very hellish to me. He seems like a very nice gentleman. I like his hair and jacket. He's very stylish for a 1915 grandpa. I know. Most rare male patterned baldness just on his chin. Oh. I remember from Gaiden calls it. Oh. Oh. That beard has been through. There you go. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course. Judge Jikoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a long time. I must say, I'm very envious of your Ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishido here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes. Could you tell us any more about it? Oh, okay. We're in it now, folks. So we're wondering if the other 2 men in the study tour from, what was it, 16 years ago, know about the murders. Or knew about the murders at the time, maybe? We just want to know how much they know. I just noticed this man has 6 cookie badges. He's wearing cookie badges as his buttons. I know the music is sweet, huh? Alright. Can we examine first? We haven't examined a room in a while. It's been a minute. And this room is so fancy. Look at that. It's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Did you know that over the channel in Paris there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How many times taller than the chimney at Yume Soken Hot Springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it drop properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, Ryu. You poor, uncultured fool. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah. It's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Because you're broke. What if he took the cookie badges from lawyers who got a penalty? Then he would match his name. He's just the ultimate baker. Okay. They're actual cookies this time. I wouldn't be surprised if someone made cookies that look like those badges. Oh, absolutely. I think even, like, without knowing about Ace Attorney, you could probably make cookies that look like that without realizing. It could be a reference. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, so do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Yes, I'm sure it must be. I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. That's it for this half? Not the cursed chat messages. He's after Rio's cookie badge. Oh no. Some of yesterday's cursed energy is bleeding into today. Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am.
Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything.
Ah, so it's a trap, designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Oh, haven't we seen this guy before? Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose?
Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes.
Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. Looked at that, looked at that. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, let's talk. Your journey. Yeah, he was from the jury. He was in the jury at one point, right? Sholmes is the sort of person to pop out of a manhole like he's Majima. Oh, yeah. I would fully expect Sholmes to just pop out of the sewers randomly. Absolutely. It's much faster than walking above ground, I assure you. Some shit like that. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
So you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris?
We did, yes. Though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Seishido here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Oh, yes. I keep forgetting about that. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No. There's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Kazuma's father. I dare say, Watson, we do avoid the ruffians here in the sewers if I do say so. I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. Kazuma's father. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Genshin! Sorry. Genshin. My favorite game.
You knew, I presume, Father?
Yes. He was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. Interesting. Okay. What are we learning? Oh, and he was a police detective. Okay. A detective turned murderer, apparently. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? Oh, no. Of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then, one day, he came to my office at the university and said, "I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there."
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
Oh, I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh? What? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zieks. What? What? That's news to us. Oh. So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part, then. Oh. Okay, so Kazuma wasn't told the truth about his dad. Probably had doubts. Okay. I basically try to make, like, summaries of what's happening, and that can sometimes help me when I get stuck. Okay. Kazuma's reappearance. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and here in London, you say. I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I don't trust him. I don't trust Strongheart. I don't know if I ever did. Wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? I don't think so. It's been 8 days since your friend got his memories back after you thought he was dead, and we haven't even gone to see him? You know? What the heck? Your time in Britain. That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh, not more talk of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Hayden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 16th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far, and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. And see, I'm thinking that Genshin was probably framed or, you know, is somehow not actually guilty. Because that's how these things go, right? That's how these games work. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Sato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her, as you obviously have been. Why are you saying this right now? Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. Point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. But perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. But the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is,
I'm so sorry that took so long.
Miss Susato.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags.
One moment, if you please, Porter.
Of course, sir.
That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. I noticed that.
Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir.
Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense.
Yes, of course.
Huh?
Family photo. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something.
Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yes, let's go. Every time you say Genshin, I just get shot with thoughts of the game. I know, it's a little tough. $5? That's like $30 billion today. Exactly 30 billion. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him.
All right, we can skedaddle.
I wanted to know what he was talking about. Oh god, I have such a bad feeling now. We had a little heart-to-heart, and he talked about how he is as a father, and then we take this little photo together. There's red flags popping up. I'm getting red flags. I am scared. I am afraid. Let's see if there's anything I should take notes on from the last few conversations. It's mostly him talking about how he was as a dad. Keep an eye on society. Yeah. Anything else is too far away. Okay. Let's move. I'll see you later, Ruuuvo. And technically, it's late in the stream. It just so happens I started stream a little later than usual. I know, the bells are ringing. The alarm is sounding. Well, we thought about talking to Strongheart, but it seems like they want to go to back home, basically. Let me just try it. Oh, yeah. 1st November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. It's 2 zaddies. 2 of them. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. See. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zieks doing here?
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. I am so sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
I don't want to do that. Welcome in, Astro. 5 shillings would have been about $1.35 in 1900, which would be about $32.40 today. So it's a bit of an expensive photo. It's a bit of an expensive photo, but they really felt it was worth it. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord? I'm right here. Ugh, kill me now. Something wrong. Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure. The beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. What a mouthful. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once.
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Mr. Naruhodo! He's talking about Mr. Scythe!
Oh, of course! Rio! I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though, disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Is there anything else to talk about? Oh, yes. Okay. Let's save. I will save here. And I'm actually gonna go take a quick break. I should be back in like less than 5 minutes. I'll try to be very quick. And when we get back, we will talk to Mr. Strongheart and see what he has to say. Yeah, a quick BRB, y'all. Alright, I'm back. Let's get back to it. So, let me adjust here a bit.
Forensic Science Symposium.
I like how I'm like blending into the carpet here. Almost the exact same shade of red.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital, Tokyo, is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here, the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. The disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
Can you not do that now?
Obviously. Nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway. Anyway, get out of my office.
Good night, Arkham. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh, finished up your finals. Congratulations. Go get some rest. And yes, we should be back with some more Dead Space tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, have a good one. We'll see you later.
I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
That's a scary phrase to hear. The missing apprentice. About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice.
Ah, yes. That came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place?
Came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my. So he stowed away to get here.
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia, too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks. That way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh.
I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asogi. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Ah yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
Huh?
What?
No one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. A dog? Aye. So, I'm also taking notes on other stuff he said. So, Strongheart says they found Kazuma as a stowaway. Didn't know who he was, so he appointed him to Zieks. And then they're saying the professor used a dog as a murder weapon. Terrible! The true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and it can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time. I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed, anyway.
Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? The idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Got nothing to say to that, huh?
Hi.
Let's move on, then.
Let's go home.
Oh, Sholmesy! We're home! Oh, the mask is here. I saw that right away, and there's a newspaper, too. 1st November, Sholmes is sweet. What is that? What was that?
A man screaming in a most unflattering way.
Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
I don't do it anymore! Hello?
Mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh?
Oh, more French accents. Okay, great. Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two. You're coming with me now. Down to the clink.
No! Not in prison! It is dark and damp and I don't like it! Now, is he Italian? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Are they both French? I think they're probably both French. That makes more sense.
Both. The darkness. This is my friend. I am not scared.
But you are always scared of this dark!
Shut your mouth, you idiot! I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this! I don't like it! Well, tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving!
His little face.
Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Hehe. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie! And Ruuuvo!
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Well, did you find your daddy? Yes. We arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon.
Oh, yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Why is it red? Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Ronald McDonald? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea.
Whatever is going on here today? In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. It's contagious. The red hair is contagious. Okay, well, I see some key items here that I want to look at. This looks the same, but I want to look at this and this. Screams and accent, yes. Mask Cosimo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zieks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up.
We ought to give it back to him, I suppose.
But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself.
But isn't he your best friend?
I don't know. He just kind of left us there, so...
This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's in an advertisement column. It says... To the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League? What's that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but...
Is something on my face? Clearly this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Red-Headed League article has been entered into the court record. An advertisement from the newspaper that's entitled To the Red-Headed League. It seems somewhat suspicious in nature. Okay. Now we got the newspaper. And that's probably it. Yeah, I don't see anything else here. Okay. Your two visitors, the greatest problem the light told. Where's the one for the hair? Where's the one for the hair, though? That's the thing.
Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you?
All manner of infractions. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my! You were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes?
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally.
We should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time.
There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it! A bungler! That's the word!
It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that.
A bungler.
So, those two redheads have been up to no good?
I wonder what the men did.
My guess is that he dyed his hair red to fit in with them and tricked them to come back to his place so they could arrest them? I guess that must be it. Or they dyed his hair and that was the crime they committed. The greatest problem. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before?
Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly.
It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops.
Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed. And from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent!
But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel's only the other day?
Sure. A large sum? Once potted herb for Iris and a new... Oh, one potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. A car?
Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem. For the coming month at least. And what was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. What? Oh, don't just look, but observe closely. I was gonna be like, how am I supposed to observe you if I can't look at you? There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end. I think I know it is a struggle. It is a challenge for someone like you. But I am sure, I am confident that you can do it. In the end? How about from the beginning? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation.
I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. The lie you told? Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Buria in January, Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. Right! So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how?
After they'd carried him out of the cavern, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. Oh my god. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. That's it? Okay, well, I guess I will jot that down. Okay, Herlock knew Cosmo was alive and faked his death, but didn't expect him to go missing. Okay. Well, and then he talked about his hair. Well, I guess let me present the newspaper to him. That's probably what he wants. I'm assuming. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last, you've learnt to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? There we go. So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. Was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week?
But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Thank goodness.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
So, you decided to try to join in his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. Oh my god.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight by the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves, and in the course of my work I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. Every hair? I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should have never doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say...
But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. At the park on Lime Street, where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a Costa's orange barrow. I have no idea what he just said. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation? So, naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shush, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads.
So they went to jail for recognizing Herlock? Ding-a-ling! Aha! Here's my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend.
I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating, save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Oh, whack. Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Herlock Sholmes! Please, oh please! Please find my husband! He's run away! Oh my god. To upset me? I beg your pardon? Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say anything. Come, my dear madam. Be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Of course.
What's the matter, Mrs. Sato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yeah, I recognized her too. Yes, now you come to mention it. Oh, I think she was, in the jury of the last case. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. Evie Vigil. Evie Vigil. Evie... I'm trying to think if there's a pun here. Evie Vigil. I can't get it. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Chums, stop it.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir, this gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What I am about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand.
Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
Ah, I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Okay, Mr. Sholmes. Miss Vigil. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly, you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. That's where he went immediately? If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Yeah.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Mr. Vigil. Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Look at this photograph! I physically can't stop myself, I'm sorry. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance, at least. How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
That would explain all the jewels on your neck, yes? As it would appear. I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at the prison.
Ah, a guard. That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed. I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? She mean capital punishments?
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes. I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes.
I think that's the prison we've been to before.
Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
No. Oh. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet, undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. Okay. Well, there's some things to jot down, isn't there? Okay, so we've got Evie here. Which... I don't know how this is going to play out. I'll just say client of Herlock. Husband went missing. Married, what, 15 years. Is chief warden at Barclay, which is next to Lowgate Cemetery, where the professor, quote unquote, came back to life. We have a connection there. Okay. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? What happened to Sholmes' hair? It's a long story. No, I'll tell you. Welcome in, Pocky. So basically silly hijinks. Apparently, there's this group that will pay you money if you join their group and you have red hair. And Herlock was trying to figure out a way to pay the rent this month, and so he dyed his hair red and went over there to try to join. But they immediately recognized that he was Herlock, and so he wasn't able to join. So it wasn't really a long story, was it? But it was a silly one. He's just a silly guy. I have no idea how long the hair is going to be ready. What a fail, right? Exactly. Oh, Herlock. You and your silly hijinks. Anyway, hope you're having a good Thursday. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. The week is almost done. Gonna be playing some scary games tomorrow night to end the week. Also watched the Game Awards earlier today. We were actually talking about that when I first started the stream. I didn't co-stream or anything, but we were all kind of watching it and talking about it in the Discord. Lots of fun stuff announced. And a lot of cool games won awards, yes. I have that what day is it clip saved. Oh my god. Of course you do. Oh my god, it is Friday the 13th, isn't it? That's actually perfect for playing a scary game. I didn't even realize that. That's perfect. That's actually perfect. I had no idea. Friday the 13th goes really hard in October, though. That's when it's serious. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Friday the 13th. It actually is Friday the 13th right now for me, too. It's been that for 16 minutes, apparently, and I didn't realize. Alright, your husband's disappearance. Yeah, we're talking to this woman at the moment. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Dally, whatever can have happened?
My dear Mrs. Vigil, please, calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally. But sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas, as my husband has been only missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
I always feel like that's the biggest bullshit. The biggest bullshit. When you know a person is missing because you can't get a hold of them and something obviously is wrong, but the police are like, no, gotta wait 24 hours before we get off our butts and do anything about it. And in 24 hours, they could be freaking 10,000 miles away already. I hate it. I don't care about any logic behind it. I already know. And I still don't agree. I still don't!
I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police.
Whatever, Herlock!
However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. It's not like I want your money or anything like that.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put this suite's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I am quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. So we got a photo. Photographic print received from Mrs. Vigil in order to aid with locating her missing husband. He appears to have no particularly distinctive facial features. Wow.
I mean, he's got like these little eyebrows that are like sad, and he's got this little bowl cut with the curls. That's distinctive.
Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
I feel like I should have been like fanning myself that whole time. You know? I feel like that would have been more fun.
Simply marvelous.
Should have had like a little fluffy fan or something.
You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two, are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes, those puppy dog eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent! And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you noted that. I literally did. I literally wrote it down in my notes.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned amongst us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. but nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruto. Sorry. Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you want? No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. I get it. I get it. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. There was money on the line that time. So, I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am rather busy. Trying to wash that out? Mm-hmm. Of course you are. Alright, let's move it. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Ooh. Bird! That cage is way too small! That is way too small! Let him out of there! This always upsets me. Every game always has a bird in a cage that's way too small. That is not okay. 1st November, Barclay Prison Governor's Office. Oh. This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was dune here. Oh no, is this supposed to be like an Irish or Scottish? No, I think it'd be Scottish accent, no? Oh no. I was gonna give him like a cowboy accent. I think I've done an Irish accent before. For another character, which was okay. Oh my god. I don't know if I can do that. That's not a cage, it's a torture chamber. Exactly. Looking at the room, I don't know if that bird can tell it's in a small cage or a cage at all. Just a scary room. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can't remember the last time a civilian was down here. So let me get a look at him first. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. What a character. Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Oh, Caden, that name. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean... Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. There's the bird in the back there. Japan! Just say Japan. Yes? Well, there's no way any of your kind in here, laddie. Oh, laddie? Okay, what would laddie be? This is a... Laddie! This is gonna be Irish? Maybe you should try the next prison door next door, huh? It's not gonna be good.
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir.
I just realized that's like a guillotine clock. Jesus Christ. I did not like to be so direct, but can I do a low Irish accent? I don't know. I'm so used to high pitched. I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you, suspicious-looking Easterners. I'm trying, y'all. Now get out of my hair. Get out! So as soon as he finds out we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means...
I think it's because of the professor case.
Yeah, that's a tiny, tiny cage. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known! You're sniffing about. You're sniffing around about that case, aren't you?
I can't do this voice. I think laddie means he's doing an Irish accent.
Your age, should say.
Part of the professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with ya, before I put your light suit. We're going! Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. Boot. Get out! We're not going to get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden.
What are you thinking, Miss Usato?
I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere.
Make him talk like Shrek? Maybe he's Canadian. I don't think they got Canadians in the UK right now. I don't know. A boot would be Canadian.
I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us.
Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. I second on Shrek. He's Scottish. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh! Whenever I see someone say laddie, I assume it's like Irish. He's Scottish, okay. I'm so sorry to all of the Scottish people in the world. I know you hate when people do this and do Irish instead of Scottish. I'm so sorry. Is Shrek still gonna work? Laddie sounds Scottish to me? Okay, I don't know shit. I don't know shit. Let me go listen to Shrek. Legitimately, let me go listen to some Shrek. Pull up some Shrek clips. The ogres are like onions. Donkey! That's all I could do though. We gotta get this down right now. Do we have any dialogue from him? I might not be able to do this accent.
A dragon and rescue a princess just so Farquhar to give you back the swamp, which you only don't have because he filled it full of granite bones to make it
a knife, cut open their spleen and drink their fluids.
Drink their fluids.
Does that sound good to you?
Does that sound good to you?
No, not really, no.
For your information, there's a lot more to ogres
Lot
than people
more.
think.
Example?
Example?
Example.
Okay, ogres
Ogres
are like onions.
are like onions.
They stink? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. Donkey. 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 You gotta get in the mindset of an ogre. Donkey.
Got the knife, cut open their spleen and drink their fluids.
Drink their fluids. Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the next prison over, eh? You had a chance to change your fate, would you? I said to get out of my swamp! Oh, I know. It's okay that y'all can hear the movie. I don't think I'm gonna get copyright claim for 5 seconds of audio. I think it's fine. If I'm wrong, y'all can point and laugh at me. Okay. Oh, right. So he's just not gonna talk to us. Great. We gotta go to Strongheart. I'm gonna lose the accent by the time we come back. Oh. Oh, it's not that. Okay. Hmm. Do I need to find something in his room first? Yeah, all that work and he just shuts his mouth. Like, what am I supposed to do? Or was it here? Oh, okay, maybe it's... I guess we can examine. I think we talked about him here. That's Professor Mikotoba over there. There we go. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. But where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he is full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before about how you had known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man.
Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee? Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Thank you. Letter of introduction. On our behalf, from Professor Mikotoba to Governor Caden, hopefully now he'll be willing to talk to us. Am I saying his name wrong, by the way? Good luck, then. I very well might be. Let's move. God, it looks like a torture chamber. I was like, oh, that's not it. Wait, it is! Alright, Mr. Shrek. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this, then? You cannot pull the wool over me eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student! Mikotoba. That young jock from the forensics laboratory. That Mikotoba. That... I can't. Yes, exactly, him. He's him.
Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jinx! You're the young man's daughter. And you didn't think to mention that before.
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And do not forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits. Handcuff biscuits?! Well, then we already know that it's canon that they make cookies of the badges, if he's got handcuff ones. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you, Hen?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh.
But how can that be?
It's Mr. Dally Vigil, your chief warder.
Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course. I do apologize for this accent. I'm trying, but it's a tough one. Okay, so we're gonna converse now. I think that we should look around. Warning, British. Wait, that's... yeah, closest I've got. I know, we don't have a Scottish. Oh. We should have a warning bad accent. Oh. But then I might think I'm doing a good job at some point, and then you guys will say that in chat, and then I'll get sad. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get bullied. Okay. We gotta look at this. This grandfather clock is
fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down.
oh god. It's modeled on the guillotine. French execution device. You might have heard of it. Yes, or you ask, it can chop. Heads off, you mean? Evers no! Carrots and parsnips and so forth.
Oh,
You place a large carrot at the bottom there in the morn. By evening it'll have been cut clean in two.
well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then.
Mm-hmm. An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection. Ah, there's a story behind every one of those. You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon, and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested?
I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo.
Not those kind of stories, Jimmy. That axe was one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Mrs. Caden was nae best pleased. And the cuffs on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when I was a bobby.
The stories were a little different to those you imagined, I think, weren't they? We would never do that, right, chat?
Never, especially since I need to go to bed. Good night, Peasty Man. Thanks for chilling with us for a while. Hope you have sweet dreams, a good night, and never mind, I take it all back. Goodbye. Just kidding. Have a good night. We'll see you later.
Yes, to my relief, and in some small way, my disappointment.
Goodbye, good streamer. Goodbye, good chatter. Pictures.
I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they?
Either that or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows.
Oh dear. They all have such severe expressions, I really couldn't deny either possibility.
Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe into a whole new territory. That one's me.
Ah! I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean? Of course it's not. Although, it is taken into consideration. A lot. You need people to take you serious, you know? Well, we have to address the bird in the room. I never have expected to find a parrot in a prison. It must be the governor's pet.
Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. Get me out! Did it kill me? Ah!
No! Has the bird learnt to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells? Oh, no. He was one of 3 siblings, you see. He still calls out the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. The names... Right. Let me out and do not kill me are the names of the other birds?
Let me out! Did it kill me?
Aye, I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Then I do it. Oh. What the heck? I feel like he's lying. It's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Inmate Register. Look. And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates. Whether or not they left alive after serving their term.
All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there. Like an epitaph, you might say.
A record of crimes and punishments. How dispiriting.
And yet, this man seems to be enjoying a tea and biscuits as he talks about it. Okay, now we got this. That deer has been staring at me for a while now.
It has?
Poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall, but it can't get its head back out now again either. It's giving me a woefully imploring look. Oh, Ryu.
It's not real, Mr. Naruhodo. It's stuffed.
Well, it's real. It's just not really alive anymore. What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator.
I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes.
Alright. We've seen everything there is to see. Now let's talk. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Sorry, did you say he was? Aye. He doesn't any work here no more. He left the job. I feel like I kind of slip into British a little bit, I'm sorry.
Oh my.
When was this exactly? It's quite a question. When was it about? And I have been much less than 10 years ago now. What?
What?
So he's been lying to his wife about his job? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, I mind it. Do you ken? I haven't heard the fella's name in all that time. Oh my god. Okay. Aiden says, the missing husband. I don't remember his name. Missing husband hasn't worked at the prison in 10 fucking years. Okay. That's a worry if he's gone missing, though. But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it.
I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Ah,
Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison.
so Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly, and no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? Aye, it was after a particular walk. A walk? Aye, that's our word for it in here. Walk to the gallows. An execution. It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
Sorry, but can I reveal that information? Can tell you, it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of this post. But why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't again anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
What would that be, Hen?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. Sorry. Really am.
I'm no at liberty to answer that.
I see.
I feel like I'm fighting for my life every time he has dialogue. Oh god. Okay. We have one more dialogue with him. One more.
My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
Dead room, prison, cemetery, lot to do with one another. After all, we need fresh corpses for forensic research.
Do you get? Yes, I can imagine.
The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Father worked in a laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of St. Sinners. Still in use today.
St. Sinners. That's come up before, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Mikotoba and I used to ride in a carriage together, negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
Aye. We used to sit in here for hours, gabon about dissection and all sorts. Oof, takes me back. Over a pot of tea, a plate of cuff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
Good fella, your father. Reliable, dead set on his work. I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose.
Well. Can I tell you anything else?
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before you're away, Hen. Sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's no the original mind.
Vigil's dismissal notice has been entered in the court record. The harsh reprimand incurred by Mr. Vigil 10 years ago that resulted in him losing his job as chief warder of Barclay Prison. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Okay, hold on. Chief Warder Dally Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict blank just prior to his execution. I knew it! I knew it! He's alive, isn't he? Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. The Professor Cosmo's father! I think he's still alive. Thank you very much, Governor Caden.
Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. Our case is closed.
Aye, aye, sir. I'm sorry for butchering your accent. I will never come back, so I never have to butcher it again. Goodbye.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. Alright, let's get out of here. What will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? This is messy already. Imagine a husband getting fired from his job and not telling his wife about it for 10 freaking years. Oh my god. 1st November, Sholmes is sweet. I'm just like, how did she never find that out? She never was suspicious even a little bit? Maybe followed her husband to work one day, like, I'm gonna catch this one. I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna catch him. Find out what he's been doing. And then, yeah, how has he been paying rent? I mean, I'm assuming he's just has a job doing something else. Or, I mean, the fact that he helped, a prisoner escape. Maybe he's doing something unsavory now instead and just tricking his wife into thinking he's doing a normal job. I don't know. Normal job. We're back. Hello, you two. This is Iris. Never mind. Sorry, Iris.
I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all.
That sounds amazing. Can I have one, please? Two. Why is it blue? Erlock, what have you done? Greetings, my dear fellows. I'm blue now. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. I'm blue, dubba-dee, dubba-die. Okay, hold on. There's something in my eyeball. I think. I think we're good. Maybe back just in time for Jinx Stan Herlock. That's his Jinx closet cosplay.
Oh my.
Pray, tell me, what of our warder friend? You garnered some new information? Oh, yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest.
It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that...
Sholmes! Oh, you.
Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important!
Gina?
I can't Adam and Eve it. I must Adam and Steve it instead!
Sniff, sniff. Can't Adam and Eve it? What does that even freaking mean? What's happened? Like, context clues I could kind of guess, but clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's the boss.
What do you mean? Inspector Gregson?
The boss is... He's dead! What?
What?
They just found his body, shot with a pistol.
What? Mr. Gregson?
But Inspector Gregson?
He was murdered? What?
No, not Grexy, but we loved his little fish and chips. No, Greggy, no!
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Sniff, sniff. What the heck? What? Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was... Who's going to eat all those infinity chips now? He was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
Oh, he was the killed person. Oh no. Gregson! Welcome in, Alan. We are learning things and they are upsetting. Welcome in. Also, Sholmes is blue for some reason. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss was... He was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective.
I mean, honestly, at this point, he was like a father figure to her, so I feel so bad.
Oh, Ginny.
God. The culprit. So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They got him already.
Already? They caught the shooter so soon?
A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him.
Ooh, what awful person did this?
I still can't believe it myself.
Gina?
It was the Reaper.
What? But who's the Reaper, though? Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's...
Wait, it is Zieks? Oh, they do call him the Reaper of the Bailey. I'm sorry. I've been so convinced at this point that he's not killing anybody, so he's not really the Reaper in my mind. I'm thinking it's like some outside person, which it probably still, let's be honest, it still is, I'm sure. Not Van Zieks! Not our vampire husband of all people! Oh, we're gonna have to defend Zieks now. Oh, this is getting juicy. This is getting juicy. But Gregson! Why would he kill Gregson? Come on.
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No, Lord Van Zieks? And he was having that conversation with Strongheart earlier. Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Beric Van Zieks the police have arrested?
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him.
Maybe it was one that looked like him. He's innocent! He's innocent! Let me in there!
So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently. And when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room.
Okay, what if there was another person that ran out? There's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Poor Gina. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all, as soon as you can. You've got to help.
Oh, Gina. It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Sholmes. What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson! Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. Inspector Gregson, dead, and Lord Van Zieks arrested.
Bruno, Susie, I've called you a handsome. It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Usato?
Yes.
Oh, we're going. Okay, we're going now. Let me just save. A lot has happened. Hey. Oh boy. Just sat in the corner. 1st November, local prison cell 1. Well, I never thought we'd see this happen. I never thought I'd see you behind these bars, Mr. Vampire Man. There he is, Lord Van Zieks behind bars.
So it's true. He really was arrested.
He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks. Fancy meeting you here. Fancy meeting you here indeed. Last place on Earth I'd like to be. The last person on Earth I'd like to see. Oh, come now. Are we becoming friends at this point? Come on. Low FPS candle. Look, it's a background image. They don't have to put. They don't gotta put more than 3 frames on that damn thing. It's fine. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But...
Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Is it something related to the case? This. The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. Oh! Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace. Let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Did you do it? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. They seem to have less bite than usual somehow. I mean, this is the worst thing. Okay, this is the second worst thing that's ever happened to him. The second worst thing. Okay. Let's talk to him. I guess let's take some notes. Okay, so Gregson has been murdered. And they think Zieks did it. Multiple witnesses. They were the only 2 in the room. I think that's about it. Those are the highlights. Alright. What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? Hey, broski, welcome in. He's so fine, I can stare at his glare all day. Well, good thing we put him in a cage. You can look at him all you want. We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street! Oh, the dichotomy of these conversations! And that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested.
We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
So maybe they just heard something, they didn't see anything, and they just saw him alone in the room and assumed. You're not supposed to make assumptions like that. Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? Not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened.
I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that. Oh, a secret.
Oh.
After all, you're not representing me.
Oh, but I'm sure we will!
He is going to need a lawyer, though. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Myself. Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Why? We do such a good job.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as of yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. 10 years! Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. A man so beautiful you gotta put him behind bars.
Gotta lock him in a cage.
Ever see a man so beautiful you want to lock him in a cage? Don't do this. I like how you have to say that at the end. Don't do this, by the way. By the way, how is stream? Is stream okay? The stream is telling me it's not okay. Just want to check in. We haven't been having any disconnects for a little bit, so I was getting hopeful. I think we're okay now, though.
It's equalizing.
But y'all might have had some buffering. Yeah, buffered for a moment. Okay. Well, we're good now.
Wonderful.
What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. A letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes. So it seems. Your stooped little Nipponese friend, for example. Don't describe him like that! What's wrong with you? Jeez. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo.
So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now.
He is. So, here's our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people, so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. Oh! Okay. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please. I have no intention of engaging your services. That makes me sad! The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I can fix it.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. When you push me away, it just makes me want to get you even more. Don't be so coy. I'm just kidding. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Okay. Okay, so the Reaper rumors have been happening for 10 years. I think that's significant. Yeah, I never really wrote this down, but it seems the Reaper does not cross international lines. So Natsume and Harebrain are safe. For now. For now. Oh, then what are we doing now? So we need to dig deeper, find out more about Lord Van Zieks. So we are going to go to the street room. Oh boy. And to die in like a crappy room like this too. It's so sad. 1st November, room on Fresno Street. Is that a red wig? Of course it's connected. Oh my god. Of course the red hair thing is an important piece of the puzzle. Okay. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then. This is where poor Mr. Inspector Gregson lost his life. Yes. And the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town?
Oh my god. Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt.
Oh, so you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself.
Hello again, Gina.
Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that at of his, and then just stopped it.
Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean?
Yeah. He didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me.
Gina, would you mind if we investigated too?
Listen, Ardo. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes. Why?
Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you?
Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Ardo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here.
Thank you, Gina. Alright, so we can talk to her. I always like to look around first. I feel like that's a little more fun. So let's do that. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it?
It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right. It's one or the other. Okay.
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Oh.
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head.
They are. Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly.
Oh? Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow?
Of course she's familiar.
We met her only this morning. He never recognizes her. Ah, it's Mrs. Vigil. What the heck?
This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here?
Well, she's in this, her picture's in this room where that red wig is. I'm assuming somehow maybe the husband is involved in the red-haired group. And the red-haired group is like a criminal organization or something. I don't know. I mean, they did arrest those red-haired dudes. I just assumed they did something wrong, but then Herlock was insinuating that he just got them arrested because they knew he was Herlock Sholmes? I don't know. Okay, so the missing husband's wife's photo was found at the crime scene.
Very odd indeed.
To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
I'm sorry to say I have no idea either.
Okay, we got the photo. Print of a smiling Mrs. Vigil in her younger years. It was found on a desk at the scene of the crime. Excuse me. Inspector. Oh, sir. Oh, he's like, I'm sorry. It's reading that out like, oh, no. I'm so sad. Oh, Inspector. What did he say? Oh, sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset.
This looks like some sort of notice board or something.
It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper.
Mr. Naruhodo, look!
This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Yes. In fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. And this one here.
Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean. The Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
Well, I guess let's look at the obvious thing. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing.
Oh, funnily enough, neither can I.
Oh, well, yeah. Now I'm thinking maybe Gregson might have been wearing it to try to be undercover. That could be something. It's a hairpiece, isn't it?
It is. A bright red hairpiece.
And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? Ah, there you go.
And in such a flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
Red hairpiece has been entered into the court record! You know, I was just complaining about my headphones recently, how this cable likes to fall out. It's been falling out a lot more recently, and I'm worried I'm gonna have to replace it or something. I wonder if it's like the wrong size, but technically works. I so hate that there's like so many different sizes for the little like headphone jacks. But it makes it difficult to figure out if it works. Anyway, if you see me messing with this a lot, that's why. It keeps wanting to fall out. Not okay. But also see if it's dirty. I guess I could try that. I think I still have like one of those air blower things. I'll try. I'm almost worried it's just wear and tear and it's just like kind of becoming loose. The killer was Ronald McDonald confirmed. He wanted those infinity chips for his business. A flame red wig found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Presumably it belonged to Inspector Gregson. I suppose this is where the victim...
That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away.
And would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week.
From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling all right, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it.
Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality.
Misato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than me. Okay, we got the gun. Oh, oops. So particular. This is presumably the murder weapon, then.
Oh my! It is real, I suppose.
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them.
There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Fire a shot!
No! No, no, no! There's like a weird little tab on the bottom. If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone who might know, I think. Alright, the murder weapon that was found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Probably best to avoid handling it. I don't agree. I think we should look at it. Oh yeah, let's look at everything. Okay, so this is just the picture. We can look at the wig. There's the wig cap. Ancient wig cap. It's for a lanyard. Yeah, you gotta keep your gun on you at all times, you know, put it on your lanyard with your keys. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like.
It doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you?
I'm not sure that's quite how I would put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. It doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean.
That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, what is that? I suppose this must have been the murder weapon.
Oh my. It is real, I suppose.
I think so. Oh, it's the same dialogue. Perhaps someone more familiar with firearms could shed a light on things here. Okay. Joe gun. I have some idea of who I could show it to. Yeah, so they don't even... I think this is a fake gun or something. It doesn't quite look real. What's this?
It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way.
Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zieks playing with something like this.
It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence just in case.
Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way.
Small and rather endearing model of a British policeman found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Oh. We are not quite done. Court record.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled, almost as if somebody has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. Oh!
Oh,
What's that?
it appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny, though. Couldn't be a key for a door, not at that size. What is it for, I wonder? Giving it a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base. Now, that's gonna be important for later, ain't it? This looks like some sort of key.
Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key.
What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? And what is it for? Okay. So now all we have left to look at is the people here.
Excuse me.
Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work, then. You're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector. Don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. Alright, all that's left is talk to Gina, I think. Let me make sure. There's no background. Okay, there's a candle one. There's a candle one. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off.
Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind. Look.
I suppose if a bullet had hit it.
It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body.
Ooh. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabrum from the wall of the room on Fresno Street where the inspector was found dead. The top of one of the candles appears to have been blown off. Okay, so that was important. Can't miss a thing with inspection times. Oh, yeah, the window. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed these boards over the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore.
Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say...
You could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Now I think that is it. Okay. Oh, Gina! Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place?
That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead.
Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he?
Summit like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case just like that.
He did?
Yup. And ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently.
That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? What was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this?
I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him.
Respect for the Reaper? In what way?
I heard him say as much. I take my hat off to that fella, were his words.
Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper.
Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke.
I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard.
He said something else to me and all. That I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that.
Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here?
Apparently, it's been rented by some cove called Hugh Boone.
Hugh Boone?
Hugh Boone.
Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. I'm just always trying to figure out the pun. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. I don't know. It's sort of here today, gone tomorrow name that, isn't it? Cubone? That must be it. Pokemon reference.
Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him.
I see. Judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever.
Right, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder.
Yes, Miss Susato?
Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself?
What? How could that be?
Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible this was in fact some kind of secret office of his.
Okay, I also thought of that. I'd never even considered that.
Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves.
You are?
If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it.
So then why does he have a picture of the lady? We should really investigate this place in detail.
I did, thank you very much.
The incident.
I see that's where the poor inspector was found over there. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall.
Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely.
And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that.
What? Really?
How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. Don't know much about guns myself. There's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him?
A bigwig lawman, is it?
Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling.
Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves?
I doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling or all. Grilling and all.
So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Alright, so our clue is a big wig lawyer person. First November. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you?
Yes. It sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train, so I could check all the paperwork. It's...
Azuma-sama.
What are y'all plotting? I don't like this.
Ah, your timing is impeccable.
It is?
No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry.
Yes.
I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime.
I'm sure he's behind this.
We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
Oh, surely not.
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable process.
So does that mean the trial is tomorrow?
Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions.
Kazuma.
Ah, but of course. You're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Osogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution.
Kazuma, no!
Wait, what?
Kazuma?
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Was he a prosecutor, though? I thought he was a I forget the word.
Kazuma-sama? A prosecutor?
Oh, Lord!
I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey, and now
the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters.
And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent.
That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least, until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history.
So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow?
That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer.
Defense lawyer.
He's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
I thought so.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor.
But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? But why?
It will all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks.
Wow, Kazuma, you get 2 swords? He's just that cool. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution? True, he does have 2 swords. I didn't notice. Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. I know, like, he's got his memories back, but now he's being all mean to us! Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zieks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know.
That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No. Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zieks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. What? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
Just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. Oh, can we look at you? I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. Yeah, he never got to tell us.
Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. I don't like this. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Oh. Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh.
I actually have a favor to ask. Which is? This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. Oh, baby Zieks! And that's probably his brother on the left and Gregsy on the right. Oh.
That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person?
Man.
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's office, you mean? Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
We got the photo? I didn't read it, sorry.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
An old photograph print displayed rather prominently in Inspector Gregson's office as if it was a treasured memory.
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma?
What? We gotta move! We gotta move! We gotta go! 1st November, local prison cell 1! Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can.
I was intending to ignore you entirely. I can't turn a deaf ear to such insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you would hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you.
In other words, no.
We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Kazuma Asogi.
Sogi!
That made the color drain from his face.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all.
Oh boy!
10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? A man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that?
Sogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese.
Right. Your hatred of all us Japanese.
I'd only just been appointed as prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer.
So-called professor.
Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh. Strongheart assigned Kazuma as prosecutor. Kazuma insists on Ryu being Defendant, not defendant. Defense. What did you just say? Okay. Flint. Was investigating the professor murders. Partner signed him was the murderer, so-called. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. Ooh, this song. My esteemed brother, people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Usogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the Professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart. Oh. That's important. Strongheart was supposed to be prosecutor in the Professor case, but Zieks. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Ah.
And of all things, as a lawyer. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. And I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his, the Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Maybe. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. Tragedy. I forgot about that. Come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he?
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean?
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh.
Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed.
I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the Professor's identity. I knew it was about the Professor. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
My, 10 years ago?
Why is that so surprising? Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. Yep. That's part of our history. As humans, okay, so Gregson pushed for full autopsy. in the professor case, which is how they got professor. Okay. My brother was, of course, a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities, then.
And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
I don't have confidence in anyone.
Oh.
And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London. Well, we have something that would prove that wrong. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Oh, and then we have this. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Ah, yes. It's not mine. Really? Common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it? That, I don't know.
Oh,
I think someone stole it. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it away somewhere, I suppose. Or left it, perhaps.
You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it.
Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it?
So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. I should probably write that down. So, Zieks misplaced his gun, doesn't know when or where. Maybe someone stole it. Okay. Now we gotta show him this, and that I would think would be the last thing to do today. Let's see. This has been a long investigative first day, you know? Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. Alright. Old photograph print. Person on the left is, Clint Van Zieks. It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. That's the first ever time? Oh my god. I thought he at least called him by his name maybe once. Oh, Jesus. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks. From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known, that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? That we just looked at 5 seconds ago? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
We got him!
Of course I will. It would be an honor.
I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands.
We got it! We did it!
For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask, which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. To be continued! 2 more hours of gameplay now. Ooh, that last, I want to say 30 minutes was a little rough. My throat is hurting and I'm so hungry, but I was like determined to get to the to be continued point because I don't want to pick back up in the middle of something. So I powered through it. We got it done. Let's save. I am going to skedaddle very quickly here because like I said, I am not doing good. So I'm gonna go. But thank y'all so much for being here. I very, very much appreciate you all. Every single one of you. I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 with Dead Space. Very, very different game from this one. A little bit more high octane. And we'll be playing more of this probably next Thursday, I want to say. I think Thursdays are going to be our Ace Attorney days for a little while. And we'll continue the case with the next part, probably our first day of the trial. That's going to be exciting. I hope I took well enough notes. I feel like I was writing down a lot of different things. But yeah, that is it for me. There's my social media if you want to follow me. We also have a Discord open to anybody if you'd like to join. And that's about it. I'll be back at tomorrow, 9:30. Dead Space. Scary times. Ruuuvo will be with me. And I thank each and every one of you for being here very, very much. I know it's a lot of yapping, a lot of voice acting. I appreciate y'all sticking around and dealing with my terrible Scottish accent, especially. I'm never gonna live it down in my own mind, so I keep bringing it up. I'm sorry. But that's it. I'm gonna go. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.